Hey, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to your apostles and elders at Great Millstone. This is Ainaya Allah with the beloved truth. All right, I got a little bit of information, and it's just showing you how propaganda works, especially with the machine state over here, the Westernized philosophy, the Westernized military industrial complex. How they're drawing people to basically hate, you know, America even more and more, because of the basically the lies that's being told, and this is just the propaganda that's being sold to the American people to prop up a boogeyman so everybody can have this biased view of the world spectrum. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and play this video for you, you brethren, those that want to be edified. It's just tidbit information on how it works in the world, and how basically you know the truth is basically coming out against the so-called white man, and it has been for some time. But as we get closer to the time, and things are starting to open up a whole lot more. All right, so all right, here you go.
Reducing the amount of territory held by opposition militants to 2.5 square kilometers. Tuesday night saw a lull in the fighting amid reports government forces and militants had reached a deal allowing the remaining fighters to withdraw their families and with light weapons early the next day. What would have been this morning. However, by that time, the sounds of war raged again, as according to the Reconciliation Center, the militants attacked a corridor which had been set up for them to exit through. Basic needs. The army and the government are Reconciliation Center. The militants attacked a corridor which had been set up for them to exit through. RT correspondent Lizzie Phelan is in Aleppo. She gauged reaction from locals to claims of the genocide and massacres taking place in the city.
Last night, the streets of downtown Aleppo were filled with people celebrating the news that the Syrian army is on the brink of retaking the whole city. But this morning, when we woke up, instead of waking up to headlines covering those celebrations, instead, the news was filled with unverified claims. We wanted to speak to people from Aleppo, including those who've just fled from East Aleppo today, about these claims to hear their thoughts. In the news, in the Western media, we're seeing these headlines. This headline says that civilians in Aleppo are telling Al Jazeera that they are facing genocide. How do you react to these reports?
This is not true. Most people are happy now that the situation has changed. We want life to become stable again. Everything is fine here. No one is killing us. The situation is improving.
If there was bloodshed, you would not see me here with my children. I took them and my entire family here with me. We have returned home. Look, here's my daughter sleeping and nothing is bothering her. No one is harming us now. I do not agree with the Western media. No, we're not oppressed. The Syrian army is doing us no harm. They're even providing us with food.
We were transported to safe areas and provided with shelter, food, and all basic needs. The army and the government are on our side. Why should they be against us?
All right, so basically that's what you have. Most of the time when you're dealing with propaganda, um, most of the views are biased, meaning they only sway one way. You only get one side of the story. And America's been doing that for so long. World War One, World War Two, the Cold War, uh, Iraqi freedom. The war in 2001, starting with George Bush. Um, due to the 9/11 attacks and weapons of mass destruction, which they said that Saddam Hussein had. But like I said, a lot of this stuff goes back to basically America fueling their propaganda machine so they can basically, fuel the war, and fuel public persuade public opinion toward accepting the war. All right, a lot of people agree with the war in Iraq and in Afghanistan, and what did they get from it? They really didn't get anything from it except a whole lot of innocent people dying and a whole lot of governments being covertly ruined. You know, so Slocky, let me go into the word propaganda. You know, all right. So the word propaganda says is an information, especially of a biased or misleading nature, used to promote a political cause or point of view. All right, now, and that's just the short version of it. Okay, Slocky, that's just the short version of it, and it gets deep as you can see the picture on the screen. Destroy this mad brute. They use propaganda to demonize the so-called Negroes, Latin and Native Americans. They did it in the '90s when President, Bill Clinton, you know, got in office. They called the super predators, which in turn, and they put, but furthermore, they put that thuggy spirit on us through the hip hop industrial complex, because that's what it is. Also, it's a weapon. It's weaponized to demoralize our people, but they use that as propaganda and a form of mimetic, so our people can follow that to what to basically be a part of that rebellious, warrior, aimless warrior type spirit, so they use that what to justify the means of bringing in three strikes you're out, super predators, war on drugs, war on, gangs. All right, only so they can what they call the Hegelian dialectic, problem action solution. So it's part of it's part propaganda is part of the agenda to push, and sway public opinion. So I just got like a few scriptures, I go into, um, like I said, this is a old age thing. This has been happening since the beginning of time, basically, and the so-called white man is using it now. Okay, so yeah, all right. So the scripture I got is Revelation 16:14. Well, I started the 13th verse. All right, and it's just going into the parables of the beast. Okay, and let me see, and it's talking about World War III. Okay, because ultimately this is what we're being dragged into. Okay, that's why America wants to justify going into Syria by blaming the Syrian army, which is the current Syrian government that's in place right now. They're trying to sway public opinion about who's actually doing the killing, but America's doing the covert operations under everything. Okay, so they can destabilize the government and use their puppets to basically take over the last region of the Arab Brotherhood. Okay, so Revelation 16:13 it says, "And I saw three unclean beasts, spirits, like frogs, come out of the mouth of the dragon, and out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet." Okay, all right. So like, and it says, "For they are spirits of devils." Okay, it says, and I'm gonna break it down, working miracles which go forth unto the kings of the earth. Okay, and the whole world to gather them to the battle of that great day of the Most High Almighty, right? God Almighty. Okay, so basically, Salaki, the dragon, when you read verse 13, is it represents the political system of the Roman Empire, which was adopted by the so-called white man, uh, which we have the Westernized philosophy and culture. Okay, how it's ran, right? And that beast where it says when it came out of the mouth of the dragon and the mouth of the beast, right? That's NATO. That's the world army. Okay, Esau's world army, right? Or military. Okay, and the false prophet represents who? All right, the Vatican. Okay, because that's who all religions of the world come out of. Right? Which they call this trio the three city states. All right, and when you read verse 14, it says they are the spirits of devils working miracles. All right, part of their miracles are propaganda. All right, are the lies. Okay, it says which go forth unto the kings of the earth. All right, and the whole world to gather them to the battle of that great day of the Most High Almighty. And that great day is World War III, and ultimately Yahweh Shimei Shai making his second coming. Okay, so the mouth of the beast, the mouth of the dragon, the mouth of the false prophet represents the three city states. All right, you got your military power, and then you got your monetary system, which is set up by Britain. The military power, which is set up by U.S. All right, really, and it's really correlation with NATO also because they're basically one and the same. Okay, and the false prophet represents the Vatican. Right? That's where all religions are under the umbrella of the Vatican because all religions have to answer to basically the Vatican. All right, the Roman Catholic Church out of the Vatican. All right, so and it says, "For they are the spirits of devils working miracles." All right, part of those miracles are what? The propaganda. All right, sign, mark, token, that by which a person or a thing is distinguished from others and is known. All right. So what is distinguished from others? Propaganda, biasness. All right. So hold on. Let's go into the root word. It says to give a sign, to signify, to indicate, to make known. Okay. To make what known? All right. Who the enemies are. Salaki. Who the enemies are. Okay. So to indicate, to signify. Right. So going back to the scripture, it says, working miracles which go forth unto the kings of the earth and the whole world to gather them to the battle of that great day of God Almighty. Right? So that great day represents what? World War III and ultimately the coming of Hamashiach, Hawabah Shai. You know, um, and that pretty much concludes, the lesson. Just something I peeped out, watching my videos, just being a watchman, man, just doing what I'm supposed to, doing what Yahweh Shai called us to do. And, Lord willing, you brothers is edified. Like I said plenty of times before, we don't get no glory out of this. We are unprofitable servants. So our job is to simply watch, bring out the things that Esau is doing, because he's a prime suspect in this, in this thing that's going to take place. This great judgment. Him and also the 2/3, man. In the whole world, they're gonna have to answer to you. And with that, I'm gonna close. I'm gonna say, call law Yahweh Shai.